study about the large intestine. So already the small intestine duodenum, ileum, jejunum is over. So now you can study the large intestine. You can see this is the picture of the large intestine. Here this is the second. Here we can see this part. This is the ileum, and here the starting point of the large intestine. This is known as cecum. This part of the enlarged part of the large intestine. This is known as cecum. Then you can see there is an ascending part. This is known as ascending colon, and this is transverse colon. And here comes the descending colon, and this is the sigmoid colon. Sigmoid colon, and then comes the rectum. This is the rectum, and here comes the anal canal. Anal canal. So these are the up to here, up to the sigmoid colon is the large intestine. The cecum, starting from the cecum, this is the cecum, and here comes ascending colon. This is transverse colon. This is descending colon, and this is sigmoid colon. Sigmoid colon. So here is the large intestine, and there are some features for the large intestine, special features for the large intestine. Before that, we can see a small structure here. This is our vermiform appendix. So it can be seen at the junction between the below the junction. This is the ileocecal junction, that is junction between the cecum and ileum. And below the ileocecal junction, you can see there is a worm-like structure that is known as vermiform appendix. This is the large intestine, and here we can see there are three special features for the large intestine. So first one is the tinea coli. Tinea coli is the, you can see there is a small longitudinal band of muscle. This one, see, this is known as tinea coli. So this is the longitudinal band of longitudinal muscle. A band of longitudinal muscle can be seen in throughout the entire part of the large intestine. So this is known as tinea coli. Tinea coli. And this tinea coli can be seen in three sides of this large intestine. Not only in one side. Here one tinea coli can be seen, and medially one more can be seen, and posteriorly one more tinea coli can be seen. So three tinea coli can be seen. So this is the tinea coli. That is the first feature of the large intestine. Then, because of the tinea coli, we can see the large intestine has small sac-like projections. So it is not a straight tube. Okay. So instead of going straight tube, we can see it is small pouches, like you can see the walls. Okay, that is known as saculations. That is the second point, saculations. Okay, so saculations can be seen in the large intestine. That is the second feature of the large intestine. Saculations. This one, these bulgings, they are known as saculations. The third feature is appendices epiploic. So here we can see the small fat-filled pouches. See the yellow color structures, small fat-filled structures. They are known as appendices epiploic. Okay. So appendices epiploic. So they are known as small fat-filled bags can be seen in the walls of the large intestine. So these are the three features of the small intestine. So these are the three features of large intestine. Tinea coli. This is the tinea coli. This one. So this is tinea coli. Here we can see this. Here also we can see one tinea coli is going like this. Here one tinea coli can be seen, and one more is seen in the posterior side. Okay. So this is tinea coli. Then saculations. These are the saculations. Then we can see appendices epiploic. These are the appendices epiploic. So these are the three features of the large intestine. Okay. So these features are absent in the small intestine. Only these three features is present in the large intestine. Then parts of the small intestine, large intestine. Here we can see this is the junction between the ileum and the cecum. Okay, this is cecum. So this expanded part of the large intestine is known as cecum. So this junction is known as ileocecal junction. Okay. And so this is the ileocecal junction between the ileum and the cecum. Okay. Then below the ileocecal junction we can see the vermiform appendix. Then Then above the cecum, ascending colon. And here we can see there is a bending between the ascending colon and the transverse colon. So this bending is known as right colic flexure. This is seen in the right side. So this is known as right colic flexure or hepatic flexure. Right colic or right hepatic flexure. Okay, this one, right colic or hepatic flexure. So the junction between the ascending colon and the transverse colon. Okay, and here then comes the transverse colon. Transverse colon will be going like this. It's not actually a straight line. It will be hanging like this. It is like this. It is going. Then here after the transverse colon, here comes the descending colon. So the junction between the transverse colon and the descending colon, here one more bending can be seen, and this is known as left colic flexure. Left colic flexure, or it is known as splenic flexure. Left colic flexure or splenic flexure. Okay. Then comes the descending colon. Then after the descending colon, then here this S-shaped, this one, this is the sigmoid colon. Sigmoid. This is the sigmoid colon. Then up to here, up to the sigmoid colon is the large intestine. Okay. And this large intestine is suspended into the abdominal wall by a fold of peritoneum that is known as not in all part, only the transverse colon and the sigmoid colon. So the transverse colon and sigmoid colon, we can see fold of peritoneum which hang in which our large intestine will be hanging, and this is freely movable part. Here we can see a fold of peritoneum which holds the transverse colon. So this is known as transverse mesocolon. Same like that, the sigmoid colon also we can see. This is known as sigmoid mesocolon. Sigmoid mesocolon. So in two places we can see the fold of peritoneum. This is transverse mesocolon and this is the sigmoid mesocolon. So in these two parts of the large intestine are highly movable part. They are freely movable part, transverse colon and the sigmoid colon. So this is the sigmoid colon. Okay, so these two parts are movable because it is attached to the mesentery. Okay, sorry, not mesentery. It is attached to the peritoneum, mesocolon. Okay, attached to the abdominal wall. In the interior of the large intestine, here we are looking into the interior of the cecal part of the large intestine. We can see there is a small opening which is the opening of our ileum. Ileum opens into the cecum through an orifice that is known as ileocecal orifice. And here we can see there is a opening, small opening. This is the ileocecal orifice here. Okay. And below the ileocecal orifice, here we can see one more opening, that is the opening of the appendix, vermiform appendix. Vermiform appendix opens into the lower part of the cecum. And here, in addition to these two openings, we can see a semilunar shaped fold. The mucosal foldings can be seen inside throughout the large intestine. But these foldings are temporary, because if the it is produced by the contraction of this large intestine, the tinea colon. Okay. When these longitudinal muscles will contract, it produces these foldings, and it will disappear if this muscle will get relaxed. Okay. So these are the temporary folding, mucosal foldings can be seen. And in the mucosa, the villi are absent. Villi are absent here. Instead of that, some script can be seen here. And the entire large intestine is 1.5 meter long. 1.5 meter long. And blood supply. So the large intestine, it is supplied by a marginal artery. So marginal artery is formed by branches from the superior mesenteric artery. This is the superior mesenteric artery. Here comes the inferior mesenteric artery. Inferior mesenteric. Okay. So branches arises, colic branches arises from the superior mesenteric artery and the inferior mesenteric artery. They form a marginal artery here. It forms a continuous marginal artery, and the branches arises from the marginal artery will supplies the different parts of the large intestine. So main arterial supply is by the marginal artery. Marginal artery is known as marginal artery of Drummond. Okay. Then venous drainage is also by the corresponding veins, that is through the inferior mesenteric vein and the superior mesenteric vein. Then lymphatic drainage. The lymphatic drainage drains into the epiploic lymph nodes, then paracolic lymph nodes, then intermediate lymph nodes, then terminal lymph nodes. Okay. So ഞാൻ എന്താ തീർന്നു, ഒരു സെക്കൻഡ് കൂടെ ഉള്ളൂ, ഇതാ തീർന്നു.